So hey, if you know me or follow me on Twitter, you might know that I really like to program stuff. I used a bunch of Unity in the past and already made a game with it for the Game Makers Talk Game Jam around summer of this year. It's also still playable on my itch.io page, however, this video isn't actually supposed to be about that. I am developing a totally new game. Ever since I heard about the programming language Beef earlier this year, I was very interested. I really like C#, but in a lot of cases, C# causes problems due to the garbage collector and the GIT compilation, which can cause heavy performance drops sometimes. Beef doesn't have these issues, but still looks and writes itself like it's C#, which made it very interesting for me. It is pretty great, and I think you should try it out as well if you're looking for a new language to write your indie game in. So yeah, I always wanted to use Beef, and actually also tried making a math library for it, which ended, well, mediocre. Then, at some point, I saw the Strawberry engine for Beef. It is one of the first engines that exists out there for Beef, and it was written by Maddie Thorson, one of the Celeste developers. And that was the point where I decided to make a game in Beef. And since the biggest problem for me was the rendering, because that's just a lot of work that I don't really want to do, an engine that can render helped me a lot with this. Well, image rendering didn't actually work at first, but then the person named Themo from the Beef Dev Discord managed to find a fix and did a pull request into the repo so that I could start using the engine for a game. At first it was just supposed to be a Pong clone because just trying to get something done, but then I got a bit more ambitious. Bullet hell shooters don't really have that much complex programming in them, and rather just need very good performance, which is something that I really like to focus, and it's something that I could manage myself. So after throwing together some sprites and managing to make some nice play movement, I found a rendering bug and actually managed to fix it. Only like 2 lines of code, and now I'm actually in the list of contributors for the Strawberry engine. Very nice, in my opinion. And yeah, because pixel art is hard, in order to make it less of a problem for me, I brought in Einhausen Pizza or Design to help with the pixel art, so I don't have to do all of the hard stuff there. He already made these projectile sprites, which do look quite good in my opinion. We also have Z in the Discord, but he just kinda hangs around just now. Might help later, I don't know. So yeah, I finished the movement. It has to do with a bit of looping, where the player's supposed to go, and getting some nice acceleration and deceleration curves done. Then I added a bullet spawning and a rate of fire setting for my player. So now I can summon bullets and destroy them once they hit the end of the screen. Bullets are also using an array bullet pool code, which means that we can iterate over them extremely fast and use cache safety, if you know what that means, to make the game generally run a bit faster. Also, the thing is that having slow bullet code is pretty bad in a game that's a bullet hell game. I also added some sloppy enemy implementation for testing purposes. Will be cleaned up and changed later, but for now it's okay. Also, another thing that I'm very interested in is that we have bullet collision checks, which is something that's a different idea that I had. We basically map the position of the bullet to an axis and then check for collisions on the axis and then check for collisions on the other axis. This means that if the bullet isn't overlapping on the x-axis, we don't even check the y-axis. This is one less comparison, and if you have 100 bullets and there's a lot of difference in the x-axis, this is pretty important to have, and it makes it a lot faster than what a normal collision might have looked like. The last new thing I added recently was a first piece of the HUD, where we basically take in a sprite for the HP bar and then scale it however large we want it to be. This is very interesting piece of code in my opinion, because it has some texture manipulation, and I also started writing a code for the HUD that makes it use as an overlay. Generalized features, so right now we have the player can move, shoot, we will add a usability button later, and we will add enemy patterns, bullet patterns and stuff like that to the game. The roguelike elements are not in the game yet, will be added however they will be added later. Player will have a shield, HP bar, all of this stuff. And till the next devlog, what I want to do would be enemy spawning and enemy movement patterns, and maybe some new cool bullet patterns as well. That's it for today. I hope to see you soon. You can follow me on Twitter if you want some more updates and more frequent updates on the game. I'm considering to make this, I don't know, probably every week or every 2 weeks, depending on how fast I proceed with this. Yeah, that's it. So bye.